and welcome to the Glacially Musical Podcast. It is beer, metal, swearing, and a YouTube review. Thank you for joining us this week. Of course, I am Nick Cameron of Glacially Musical, and I am joined by my good friend, a man who's always going to light your way, who knows where he's going to shine the bright, wonderful, happy lights on you. Keefy Chandeliers, how are we doing today, buddy?
All righty. How are you doing?
I've had a fun day. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But before we get to that, let us talk about what today is and how we do things here. If this is your first day, thank you for joining us. Welcome. We talk about music. We talk about all the stuff. Today's topic is how records are made, which is actually a topic suggested to me by my child 6 months ago. She has decided she is the content producer. As soon as she recommends a band we can do, we'll talk about paying her nothing. Slightly more. We'll pay her a different nothing than the nothing she already gets. But here's how we do this. We do a greeting, which we've done, a beer check, a vinyl check, a shirt check, news of the day. However, this is an extra episode, which will be played later. So we're leaving out the news. But that's besides the point. And today I am drinking, I'm going to beer check. Went to Trader Joe's today. I'm going to drink news of the day will be replaced with what I did today. So, which is actually a good part of why we're talking about what we are. But I am drinking a Trader Joe's Bomber Barrel Aged Stout. It is a Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels, which is about the greatest thing in the world. Usually a bottle like this will run you about $12 or $13 here in St. Louis, but Trader Joe's, they got one for $6, so I got that. Finger fudge poured down the middle.
I kind of wanted you to start singing Bomber by Motorhead, which is my favorite.
Oh my God, this is going to be the only beer I have for the rest of the day.
All right, then. I appreciate you not waiting for me. That's like an impressive looking glass.
This is my Oktoberfest glass.
I was going to insult you for not waiting. You are uncouth and did not wait for me to cheers, but okay. I'm drinking a beer I have never had before. Pacifico Clara. This is a very popular beer here in Northern California. I have no idea what to expect.
That is going to be a very, very light Mexican lager.
That's what I was told. And a beautiful can, by the way. I don't know if you can.
It is nice.
Again, this is the size that seems to be the Northern California size for people drinking their problems away. So here we go with the pop. We'll see what happens. Probably nothing.
I got a little pop.
Yeah, it's hard. We had technical difficulties in our last Pouredcast, so I am using backup here and a backup setup. So
hopefully I sound better. I did a little fiddling with when the last episode we did was the very first time I've used this microphone, and I noticed I was moving around too much instead of staying in its zone. So I angled it a little bit, which they say don't do, but because it's low and I'm talking down, it should be perfect. I changed the radius, all that stuff, and it's also higher. It's now nipple height.
Yeah, but, in the future, we'll probably get that thing on an arm and get it closer to your mouth. But
you sound 6 inches, and I'm right there right now.
You sound great. So,
all righty. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
It is the Pouredcast happy hour.
That is pretty good.
They made that perfectly. My favorite bourbon barrel Imperial Stout is by local brewer Schlafly, which costs $13, and this is just as good.
I don't know if it's a German thing with beer, but I just feel like beers need names like Schlafly and Grolsch. They need to be gnarly.
That's the dude's name.
Schlafly?
Tom Schlafly. Right. Unfortunately related to Phyllis Schlafly, but she has nothing to do with the beer.
Is she not a good person?
Oh, no, she's awful.
Okay.
But that's besides the point. We're going to leave her out of this. All now, right, my shirt check today, I'm going to do shirt check, then vinyl check, because I'm doing the vinyl check a little bit weird. But I am rocking my Philadelphia Gritty in a Speedo riding the Liberty Bell, which is one of my favorite scenes just in the history of mankind. That is it's what we should be doing this for a living.
I'll tell you this, as a diehard New York Rangers fan, I have hated the Phillies, and
Hmm.
I've hated them. I hate the Phillies. I hate the Eagles. I hate the Flyers. Just all the 76ers. Not a fan of the teams in that
What are the
town.
76ers?
Basketball. I
Oh, I
love
didn't.
Philadelphia. I love the town of Philadelphia. I've had some baller times there. Just not a sports fan there, but I will say Gritty is one of the more comical, amusing, and joy-bringing mascots ever to be created. And so my hatred of them just takes a tiny hair off the top because of
I
Gritty.
I don't give two craps about the team. They're in the Eastern Conference. They don't matter to me. What matters to me is Gritty as a national treasure.
It's basically a McFry guy on steroids. I don't know if you noticed that,
No,
but
he's a McFry guy on meth.
that's also. I mean, Philadelphia is the East Coast meth capital. I'm not sure
Hey,
if you
I'm
know
not gonna
this.
I'm not gonna look down on anybody for meth because a house in my old neighborhood, a cat corner from mine, blew up because they were cooking
Amazing. That is
while
amazing.
I lived there. I mean, it's not like this happened years ago. It was that
Hey,
weekend.
hey, Jesse, we've got to cook. Anyway,
Yeah.
call me Heisenberg.
I never watched that show.
You need to. I thought you were
I
starting
know.
it.
No, it's Sopranos.
Oh, okay.
I'll be it
Where are
got
you?
to
Where are you in Sopranos?
real the episode where the doctor got assaulted.
Oh, fuck. That's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, that actually put a damper on. I
Yes.
had to walk away from it for a while because the wife
Yes.
does not do
Yeah.
those kinds of
There,
scenes.
there's gonna be many. I gotta walk away from this moments in Sopranos. However, stay with it because the show is great.
I love it so far, but when that comes up, I'm gonna actually have to spoil the show for myself a little bit to make sure that doesn't happen again because
I
it was a
understand.
surprise and it happened very quickly. But that's besides the
It
point.
it was terrible.
That's actually one of her complaints about the show is that it is overly violent when it does not need to be.
That is facts. No
Fair
cap.
enough. Uh, if you don't mind, let me tell a story. So actually, what I did today is going to come before the vinyl check. I'm calling audibles on everything we do today because this whole day is an audible.
All right, great.
My wife is out of town. She is visiting with her college best friends. There are 6 of them. They have been doing this Martin Luther King weekend forever. The year before the pandemic, it was here, so I had to cook for them for breakfast, and I got all the praises, and that was lovely. But she's out of town, and when she's out of town, and I got paid, uh-oh, we decided to go to all the record stores. So we started this morning and we went to Trader Joe's because they have low acid coffee. As we are getting old, we want low acid coffee beans now. I didn't even know it was a thing. Thank God I drink tea. So by we, you know who I mean.
Which
But
is this the light roast or the French roast?
no, it is called dark roast low acid.
Okay, it's the dark brown bag. I know exactly what it is.
This is a canister actually. So we've
Oh,
got a
oh, did you
so we've
grind the
got a
beans?
no. Can you grind them there?
You can grind them there, yeah.
Oh, son of a bitch!
I mean, like if you already bought it,
I already bought it.
if you go into the store with the receipt and say, "Hey, I bought this can. Can I forgot to grind these?" They'll let you.
Okay, well, I'm not doing that. I think I have a grinder at one of my at the old place, but we'll check. And also bought some stuff for lasagna. So I have this amazing lasagna that is a marriage of both Trader Joe's and Aldi, bringing peace between the brothers Albrecht once again. I don't think they care, but so far it's been delicious. I sauteed some peppers, some onions, and some garlic, and I threw some spinach in there. But after we went to both of the Albrecht owned stores, we then turned left. And when you turn left on Manchester, heading back into the city, right before you get into the city, there's Planet Square Records. So fuck yes, right inside the Planet Square Records. Poked around, did some Google, some check-ins, didn't see anything there. Ran away actually because some dude was driving me crazy. He's trying to sell some CD, like 300 CDs, and he's like, I want to start the conversation around $500. And I'm like, dude, it is 2023. If you get 50 cents a pop, call it a win and move on. But he spent there for like, I'm like, I gotta go, I can't do this. So we drop the stuff off, get the meat into the microwave, the defrost. And I'm like, all right, let's go buy some fucking records. So next stop, Infinite Spin Records on Cherokee in the Benton Park West neighborhood where my mother used to live. And in that place, I came across something I couldn't leave in the store.
Oh wow.
Deep Purple last concert in Japan. Let me show you something. We talk about the pricing because it's important, I think, to show that bargain shopping and just how much this stuff can genuinely cost. I think it's important. So if you look right here, what does the price tag say?
I can't read it. You'll have to tell
Oh,
me. No one can read this at home on who's watching.
okay, fair enough. $18.
Okay.
Now, this is one of my very few Japanese pressings that actually still has the obi strip. Obi just means, I believe, sash. It because they did not change the artwork in Japan. They put obi strips on them, so that way they know what they can just look at it and read it in their native tongue.
Love the OB strips.
I don't give really two craps about them. I've had obi strips on video game CDs. I mean, it's just another thing for me to manage. But I'm contrarian. What I am, what I am. But if you look here, which I don't think you can see, this is a 2,000 yen cost. This is a 1979 Japanese repressing. So this is the second pressing of this album. And when it was sold, by today's exchange rate, it only cost $19. It cost $19 in 1979 dollars. I paid 18 for it. So the Japanese person who bought this originally, in terms of post cost, spent 3 times as much as I did, 4 times as much as I did on this album. Listened to it once today, didn't even need to clean it. For the Japanese pressings, one of the great things about them is they are typically owned by Japanese people first, and the Japanese people take immaculate care of their things, unlike us in America. Don't know what the deal is. It's just a cultural thing. From there, we went down to Dead Wax Records, which is also on Cherokee, right next to an Irish pub and across the street from a little brewery that I need to check out, and also near a historical brewery, Lemp, that has been closed for 50, 60 years. But didn't see anything there except that I had to own. They had some cool stuff. They've got a bootleg copy of The Wall live in Los Angeles. It's $50. I don't know what it sounds like, and I wasn't really ready to drop $50 on a record. The kid got some school accolades, so she also had a good chance. Whatever she wanted to find, told she could have any record within reason, which is up to $40. Which that's terrifying that's within reason, but it's 2023, and I'm not going to be the old man yelling at the cloud, except when I am. So after that, I'm like, where do you want to go? We go to Frenchtown Records. Frenchtown Records is where I came across the copy of Kiss Creatures of the Night, the second release, which is a very rare record and worth way more than they charged me for it. But did not see anything there at a price I was willing to pay. They did have the original master recordings re-release of The Doors self-titled, which I would have purchased had it not been $245. Showed the kid the price tag and she went, huh. And later I found out she did not see that it was 243. She thought it was 2345. And I'm like, no, if it were 2345, I would have bought it. It's the last Doors record I need. They also had Black Sabbath albums for like $200. Here's how you know an album is not worth that much money. It's in the stacks. If there's an album with a 3-figure price tag and you're just flip and it's not up put away, it's not worth that much money. That's overpriced, or they wouldn't put it there. Anything $50 and over typically is up on the wall. After that, we headed over to music. We were going to go to Music Record Shop, which is on Locust by Red Flag, a great venue, and it was closed. Google said it was open, however, my eyes said it was closed. So I went, okay, well then, I guess we have to go to Vintage Vinyl. Kid's like, what's Vintage Vinyl? It's the one that's as big as Randall's. Randall's is a liquor store. Normally that wouldn't be significant, but Randall's is as big as a Target. So we went to Vintage Vinyl, and there she bought an Emmett somebody or other record. I don't know who the hell it was. It was $12. That's definitely within reason. Now, I picked up something else, and I had never heard of this. It is the Butts Band. Are you familiar?
Not at all.
Lead guitar, vocals by Jess Roden, lead guitar Robbie Krieger, drummer John Densmore. So it's 2/3 of the surviving Doors and some other dudes. It was $5 or $6. I did have in my hand a copy of the Payolas, the final Payolas record featuring Bob Rock on guitar. I got to tell you, I had to talk myself out of it. I really, really did.
I misread your message about that record, so I'm glad you explained what that is, because I was like, I don't understand what he's getting at. Is this a pun? Is this a real band? No, it's Bob Rock's band. Okay.
Yeah, it's somebody and the Payola. At that point, it was somebody and the Payolas. They discussed it in a scene in Year and a Half in the Life of Metallica. But
Right.
it is what it is. I didn't get it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. It sounds like you had a good day.
Great day. And actually,
And
I'm still going through some records that I got in the last couple of weeks. We had a couple of really good weekends of finding some really, really low priced records, really low price quality stuff. I did find Thin Lizzy, however, they wanted $40. Gonna have to pass on that. Jailbreak is not worth $40. I'm sorry. And I found a lot of stuff today because we went basically everywhere that we hadn't been in the last 2 weeks. But I just didn't find a whole lot that today that I couldn't live without.
Nick's been everywhere, man. Did you know
That song is about a serial killer.
Yeah, I know. Did you know that Rob Zombie covered that like a year ago?
No, I did not.
Rob Zombie, John 5, Nikki 6, and Tommy Lee, maybe. Or Matt Sorum, somebody.
It's a Motley Crue-ish.
Yeah, with Zombie.
Yeah.
Doing the his voice. Yeah.
I love his voice. I just hate all of his solo records.
I got ruined by White Zombie. What can I say?
Yeah, White Zombie was 20 times better than
his first 2 solo records are pretty good, and his last 2 were not half bad, and the last one was actually halfway decent. I still feel like none of these guys ever take advantage of John 5 as a writer. They just don't.
No one ever does.
They don't let him write.
It's a lot like the conversation we were having last night. John 5 is the Dave Navarro of this day and age.
He sure is.
Dave Navarro is the most underrated, underused, underappreciated, underutilized. And that includes his goddamn solo record.
Trust No One. I love.
Did
you do it on the DMA?
Yes, we did. We did that because I read the book. Trust No One was an interesting project because it was a book and a record and a series of photos. Where it's a weird thing. Read the book, then listen to the album.
Do you know why it's called Trust No One?
No, I don't remember.
Because he's obsessed with my favorite show, The X-Files.
Oh, fair enough.
Is it my turn for what I did today in my vinyl check?
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm
just checking. I'm enjoying this. Chasers are very loose when you don't have the wife at home. We can do whatever. I assume the kid is at the grandma's and we can do whatever.
Well, the grandma is downstairs. The kid's on the other side of the room. I asked her, I'm like, hey, do you want to be in the room or do you want to not? She's like, well, what if I'm in the room? What can I do? Nothing. You can make no noise.
I'm gonna save in the hopes that I someday meet your family this coming year. I'm gonna save the joke that I was about to make earlier for another time, not now, because I'm sure I will never be welcome in your home if I make this joke. Anyway, I don't like kids. Your kid seems like she's cool. Generally speaking, don't like kids.
I don't like kids.
Today is my last few hours of pet sitting. I know this is going to run at a later date, who knows when, but I've been pet sitting in my old abode in Sassoon City, about an hour and a half north of San Francisco. I'll be back home in a couple of days. Been here for a week, gonna be a few more days, so a week and a half total. The owner's coming home tonight. I've been chilling hardcore. I had so much cat hair, I had to brush myself off right before we went live.
Real quick, this thing is so heavy, I got it two-handed. So if you're not watching this on the YouTube, you're messed up because you can't see the mug.
It's bigger than your mug. Nick is trying to hold this beer glass like Trump holding a glass of water. Anyway, I did it again. I invariably can't help but make a joke, and Nick is always sipping when I'm talking. So this is a recipe for disaster. Anyway,
continue.
I'm pet sitting. I think considering all the tech issues and things and everything, I've improvised a nice setup pretty well. Similar to my home setup as much as possible with the Keefy green light. That's the Ghost Cult light. And did a couple of band interviews here this week. I slept in a little today, somewhat of a late night last night. I was trying to watch all the Star Wars movies in order. That didn't, I felt like passed out.
We had a family movie night that my wife requested before flying out. We watched Rogue One.
Word. It is a heartbreaker.
Amazing.
Maybe the best Star Wars movie of outside of the original 3.
It another time.
And it's great. Anyway, did you see, I forget, did you see Andor or not?
We're about halfway. Andor is a lot. I have the problem I have with Andor is the same problem I had with Obi-Wan. The same problem I have with Willow. They have 2 hours of material, like genuinely 2 hours of really great material, and they're
stick with it.
We will.
Andor is very long, but I'm gonna say that it just real. I don't want to spoil it for you, but to me,
don't spoil. I know it ends really well. And I will.
It's these for some. I want to know why, as Thor would say. I want to know why Disney didn't put the same amount of time, love, and care into creating Obi-Wan and Boba Fett that they did into Andor, because Andor far exceeding my expectations.
Because anyway, Obi-Wan and Boba Fett were supposed to be slam dunk nut bars. Easy peasy. These are fan favorites. Yeah, Cassian Andor barely is in terms of fandom, barely a blip.
He's now a fan favorite, but that's, I think, also to do with the character, also to do with the actor. Anyway, so I knew we were doing this podcast. I got myself up. I made myself a fantastic breakfast. Breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. And
I love breakfast.
I don't have a big kitchen in San Francisco. I have a tiny place, an efficiency apartment. We have a tiny little apartment. So I'm here in my friend's ginormous house where I have my own whole bedroom, several workstations to do my shit in, including this office, and a enormous kitchen. And she's like the kitchen witch. She has every kitchen pot, pan, appliance, stove thing. So I'm just cooking up a storm while I've been here. I mean, nothing like extravagant, but to me, like to spend actual multiple hours making a meal for myself is a treat. I enjoy cooking. So, and then,
same. That's why I'm making lasagna. My wife loves lasagna. My kid wants to try it. So I'm debuting it. I'm doing a Toronto showing of a play in order to play it on Broadway. Play it in Toronto first, then you take it to Broadway when you're ready.
I've done that too. So really quick to get along with this. I knew I had to do the pod. I got out for a walk yesterday, but I didn't get downtown. I meant to go out the other day. So I needed to hustle downtown in this town, Sassoon City, down in Sassoon City, like Suffragette City, to go to the record store and the beer store, the bodega that has the beer where I got my beer today. I was also going to try to hit one of my favorite comic book stores, but I always engage that proprietor in a long talk about metal, and I just didn't want to be late for you. And then while I was walking home in the rain, you were like, gonna be late making lasagna. So that's fine, because I didn't have to like run home. And
I was originally going to make it afterwards. And then I started like looking at the clock and went, no, this is a poor idea.
So this place, if you check my social medias for Ghost Cult Mag right now, I did a little story right before we went on. Because this thing was trying to unfudge itself anyway with the technical problems. And so luckily this isn't my band interview that I had yesterday where the camera was also not working. Terrific. So I went downtown, and this place is called Retroactive Records and Games. They have one side of the store is all old video game consoles, including like a video game console timeline map on the wall that shows the history of game consoles, and all of them mounted to the wall. And then they have games for all of them. They will sell you a console with a whole grip of games. They have modern stuff, old school stuff. Then the rest of the store is a record store, an incredible record store, actually.
Very cool.
So I love this place. They are the owners. This has had multiple owners over the many years. I think it's in business for 20 or 30 years. The current proprietors have the store for 11 years and they're moving away. I think they're retiring. So they're trying to sell it to someone. It is kind of a tough sell because it is such a unique thing, but it gives so much character to the town, especially when I lived here. I love giving them my business. So I did buy a record today. I was not planning to buy a record today, but I did buy this record, which is Jawbox, the post-hardcore band from the 90s. And they're not as hardcore as they are alternative rock a little bit, but this is For Your Own Special Sweetheart. This was their debut major label record, not their debut album, but like their big hyped one with Savory, which was a 120 minutes video hit. I saw Jawbox 3 times in 2022 as they opened for Jawbreaker, who I saw 3 times in 2022. And they were the direct support on each show on the West Coast. And my special lady friend saw Jawbreaker 7 times in 2 weeks. Respect. And a lot tougher than me. And she traveled to see them also. So LA, Portland, Oregon, Sacramento, and Trice with me. So amazing good times. And we met the band and we met all the bands and it was a lot of fun. So I got that record. It's not a fancy vinyl. It is an original pressing. I will also just say it came with the Mylar. I checked already. We normalized the Mylar. The store gives either got this with the Mylar or gives you the Mylars. And then just a very nice solid black original. I am
there's no shame in just a black pressing.
Just a plain old black pressing. Yeah, I don't think this has been repressed actually.
And frankly, normalize just listening to your record just for the music that comes out of the grooves.
Right. I don't want to, we're not going to do a news thing, but I'm going to save a news item for the next regular episode that has to also do with vinyl. And as I drop the sleeve, and you know, it's tough out there. Support your bands any way you can, because a lot of them are not in control of their masters, and record labels cling on to rights for some reason, and it's very sad. But anyway, that's my vinyl check. That's my day, and I'm doing this podcast with you. I'm gonna make probably a meatloaf and some sweet potato fries for dinner and the salad, and they're gonna come home, and I'm gonna chill and just continue to hug and love on this cat and dog. But I don't have to, chase after them, feed them, or mind them too much more the next few days. So I can relax.
Well, there you go.
All right, then. Is this your time when you need
a break?
Yeah,
it's my time. It's my time.
Nick is trying to signal me as I'm pouring my additional beer in my glass. All righty.
Just so you know, I'm going to have to pull it out in 20 minutes.
My pullout game has been pretty good so far in 50 years. So
all right. Oh,
that I know of.
All right. Now, I guess since we have piddled and paddled enough, we're going to finally talk about something that we are wholly not qualified to talk about. I've got an article here from yoursoundmatters.com, which also includes a YouTube video. So I'm going to suggest you Google that if you want to see it. It's an 11-minute video, and I'll explain what that video... I'm not going to explain what it entails. I'm going to tell you what it is.
In the future, if you had sent me a link to that, I could have shared the screen, put the video up for like a minute, and we could have watched some of it.
I did send it to you.
Yeah, but like today, right now, before we go on.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that. Okay. Well, it's like Dick Cheney said, man. It's an unknown unknown. I didn't know. So,
you know what Dick Cheney also said? You should apologize to me for shooting you.
Yes, I know. That is the most terrifying thing I have ever heard. Moving on, that aren't things that aren't scary. Let's talk about some biscuits and making them and pucks and all that bullshit. So one of the things about what we do is we are a very vinyl focused kind of podcast. I am a very vinyl focused human. Keefy is he's half calf. He he's in, he's out. I'm all in. Not everybody can be, not everybody needs to be. It's fine, whatever. But one of the things that's really cool is how this shit is made. This stuff it goes through about 15 different processes just to get your master tape onto these little black discs. Now, here's where it gets confusing. We start off they make the master disc for your record. I don't know why they don't just have those, but they don't. They don't just have like a pile of them. So they make these nitrocellulose master discs that are squished by aluminum pressers. And that is what is used to cut the record onto a lathe. As we have all heard the phrase, cut a record. Actually, that's what happens. When they make the record, it is literally cut. They play the master tape, the 32-inch, quarter-inch, whatever the damn thing is. I don't know. The big giant tapes you see. They put those onto a machine. And now they have to be very careful when they make the master pressing, because if there's a speck of dust on this damned aluminum, now there is an indentation on your master disc. When your master disc then goes to the lathe, you're going to get a actually, you're going to get a like every time it hits it, and you don't want that. So they go through all kinds of checks, all kinds of steps just to make a blank disc. That's pretty cool. Any thoughts?
That is amazing. Interestingly enough, I didn't mention this because I was just so excited to talk about Jawbox. This record store, I didn't make you laugh. I didn't tell a joke.
I can still be amused. I'm a happy guy. Things make me giggle.
All right.
I laugh inappropriately.
Your shirt is hilarious, as is mine. We didn't shirt check at all, but
I shirt checked.
I keep skipping my shirt check. Why do I get skipped every week?
And then you blame me. And
I am going to blame you. Everything is Nick's fault. That's what I assume. My shirt, by the way, is not flat, as in it's a NASA spoof. We checked for all you flat earthers.
I know one.
This record store has, I didn't talk about, like, they also have albums on a shelf that are $50, $100, and they have little stickers on every record, where it was cut, what year it was pressed, how, like, cut method, which I find very, like, that's a real collector's place, right? Like, ideally, find collectors stuff there. Again, I'm not that serious about it. I am, and I am not sometimes. Sometimes I just want a brand new thing of a thing.
I'm not serious about the collection part of it. I'm a half cup serious about the pressings, because I have replaced pressings before.
They matter.
My copy of The Wall. I've got 2 copies of Pink Floyd The Wall, the studio record. My wife gave me the 2016 180 gram pressing. I found the 1979 American pressing. I had to buy it. It was only $25 though, so I mean I could easily justify. But like when I was in the, I bought the Deep Purple record today. How many times have you heard me say, "Oh, Deep Purple, I fucking love those guys"? It's me, it's not. I'm not a big fan. This is my 4th Deep Purple record, and every one of them has Hughes and Coverdale on it, which I'm really not doing this right. But it was a Japanese pressing, and there was another store owner coming in talking to the other store owner, and they're going to do a deal on Japanese pressings. And he said, "Yeah, he got a Japanese pressing." As I'm walking out, and I looked up and I said, "Yeah, if this wasn't a Japanese pressing, I would have left it."
Fair enough.
Because it was a Japanese original or OG pressing. It's like, oh, that is going to sound amazing. So that's my level of how much I care. If I do try to get Japanese, I think I've got about 30 Japanese records now.
I cross my arms quizzically. I know, yeah, I guess there's a whole level of people who that matters.
There are people I have seen that will only buy Japanese pressings.
Yeah.
And I would love to be that dude, but it costs $30 to mail one. So it makes it hard to be that dude. But I'm sorry, I interrupted. Were you done?
No, I was done. I have no other notes. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. The chasers are a
little loosey goosey and less formal.
Loosey goosey, less formal, and drinky. Because you know what? It's Saturday. Fuck it. I don't care. If I don't end up going to Magnolia tonight, I don't end up going there. So
what's Magnolia?
Magnolia's the other place. That's the name of the other place.
Okay. Did you have stuff to do? Are you still you're still trying to get out of there?
I still have stuff to do, and that's where I watch The Sopranos, and I should go there tonight. I said I would do things. But all right, so next we cut the master disc. Dude, this is a process. And start off, you have to wear coveralls, you have to wear silk gloves, you have to make sure there's no dust, there's a vacuum, there's a ruby, there's all kinds of stuff. It takes 10 minutes for this dude to describe what the lathe machine, it's cut on a lathe. So when you see lathe cut records that you can purchase, and I've seen those a bunch of times, and what I have been told every time is they're not, it's not quality sound. And there was an episode where I discussed you could buy a home lathe cutter to put a single on, which did the mastering for you as well. This is a very serious process. And if you watch the video, again, yoursoundmatters.com is where this video is. And if I remember, I'll put a link to the YouTube video in the description. And it is, I mean, it would take me 25 to 30 minutes to understand the 10-minute video. And then it would take me 45 to 50 minutes to explain the first 7 parts. But it is significant. And I learned a lot from that video. My copy of The Doors Waiting for the Sun and my copy of MC Chris, well, I no longer have it, but my old copy of MC Chris Goes to Hell, there was significant portions of dead wax, like 2 to 3 inches of dead wax on the albums. So what I learned was they didn't adjust the pitch properly, because what they want to do is they want to have the grooves go from start to finish on every record and be the same, have the same look on them as every one. And if you don't have that, they set the pitch wrong. And apparently it takes a lot of expertise to know how to do that. But what that does is it puts the sound waves from the master tape into the machine, and that machine cuts it on the lathe into the master disc. Why do they call it a master disc, I wonder?
A rhetorical question or a question for me? It's a master disc because they make the rest of the albums from that first disc.
It was not a rhetorical question. I was doing that so I could scroll down to the next step. And I'm going to take a drink of beer. Everybody be quiet. Everybody take a sip. All right. Next, we got to create the stamper. Remember when we were little, they had stompers? Remember stompers? No? They were the little cars. They were like little baby monster trucks. You put a penlight battery in them, which is what we called double A's back in the early 80s. Maybe you were a little bit too old for stompers because you're 3 years older than me.
Might as well be 20 years older than you, though.
In 1982, yeah.
Did you have the 11-inch GI Joes or no?
No, I missed those. I had the I had the 3 1/4.
I was on the cusp
3 3/4.
The 11-inch GI Joes, and I inherited all my brothers.
We had a couple that we had found just in random places, but that's besides the point. So now they have to create the stamper. What is a stamper, Keefy?
You tell me. Go ahead. I'm letting you steer. I'm just listening.
Well, I mean, you're letting me steer and row here, so pick it up, sir. And this
pick up change.
Oh, pick it up. Sorry.
Well, it was not the same.
I was trying to do ska, but I don't know how to.
Yeah. Ska's more like the pizza maker, this. And a little jig.
I don't know what that is.
Skank.
And you know what? I went to the toaster show and I saw like 48 people skanking. And to this day, I still can't do it. I'm like, I don't know what you're doing, but you've got this thing going on that I can't replicate. So the stamper. A stamper is a pair of huge metal discs that basically takes a what looks like a dog turd. It looks like the dog turd emoji made of vinyl pellets, and they heat it up and they squish it. But we're not there yet. We got to make the stamper first. So they take the master disc, and why the master disc cannot be a stamper because it is not inverted. The stamper has to be inverted. The grooves have to be stalactites rather than stalagmites. So what they do is they take the master disc and they put in nickel and silver and all kinds of wonderful metals, and they do electroplating. Electroplating is a process where you put metal into water and then in the water you put in the metals, and then you put a charge into the water, and the metals immediately become magnetic. So that is how they make the stamp. And then they got to wash it with all the business and all the stuff, and that is how the stampers are made. So now you've got a stamper for each side. What? Because it comes out, it cools, and you pull it off. I believe that actually destroys the master as well, but don't quote me on that. Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
That's fascinating. Yeah, I mean, like that's buck wild. Like
At my last job, I actually did not personally, but electroplating was part of my job.
That is really cool. No wonder you love this stuff so much.
I love everything. I'm a loving gentleman. And if you look at a picture of the stampers, they look like clear vinyl because it's silver and nickel, and silver and nickel are some of the shiniest metals known to man. In my personal opinion, that's why I have a silver wedding ring, which I'm not wearing because my wife's out of town. I'm kidding. I wore it out all day.
They're also soft, right? They're pliable, right? That's
yeah.
You are the metal expert in more than one way.
Ooh, I sold metal for 15 years. Like that was my job. I'd go in, put metal playing on my phone, and then sell metal, and then make metal stick to other metal. I mean, there was all kinds of
pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought so. Part of me misses doing that, but that's besides the point. Now here's where it gets fun. We're gonna finally make a fucking record. You have to step 4 is preparing the labels, and the labels go into the goo. Because if you don't put the labels in the goo, it doesn't work. So you got to make the labels. All right. So now we got labels, we got goo, we got stampies. What should we do next? Put the label in the goo.
Put the label in the goo. Do you have to print on the labels?
Yeah, the labels are ready to go.
And then they're also usually glossed over also, right?
I am not certain on that, but you have to put
finish.
The label actually goes into the pressing. It is pressed on by the stamper.
It's pressed on by the stamper. Okay, that's good to know. It's not just like
no, it does not come.
It's not glued on.
Think about it. Have you ever seen a label where the hole was where the label was moved over or missing? It's always right there because that's part of the stamper. So you get it's called the biscuit. Basically, they get a dog turd of vinyl. And I have no other way to describe it. If you look at a picture of it, it looks like a hockey puck made of turds.
It's a misshapen chicken nugget patty.
Okay, we'll go.
I'd rather make it a food thing than a turd. A turd is unappetizing.
We're not eating it. Are you eating these things?
Maybe. Give me a chance. I'm a hungry guy.
Hang on, everybody pause, take a sip.
I have a secret stash of tips here. This show is sponsored by Lay's since I'm a fat fuck. I like shoe in everybody's ear, and Nick tries to not spit.
I'm gonna put my headphones back on now that I've swallowed.
Sour cream and onion, my favorite.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We're okay.
If you eat salt and vinegar chips, you might be a terrorist. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
All right, call me a terrorist, whatever. Hit pause. All right, let's keep going on some comedy or informational. Is this an infomercial? No, because we're not selling anything. We're getting close to being able to sell the Glacially Musical Pouredcast pint glasses. I've already got one inquiry, which makes me the most important podcaster I know in this block. But where were we? All right, so we got to squish these fuckers. Now, you ever put your dinkus in something? I hope not. You don't put your dinkus in things you're not supposed to go in. But in this instance, there's 100 tons of pressure. So the biscuit goes into the machine with the stamper on either side, and they squish it down. They heat up the biscuit, which is a puck-shaped, turd-looking piece of tubular vinyl. They heat it up, squish it, and it becomes a record. At that point, they pull off the excess to be used later, because why waste not, want not? And then you, frankly, have a record. And then they got to do all the cleaning business. They spray them down. Anyone who has watched Year and a Half Life Metallica has actually seen this. There's a 45, 60-second segment where they show the pressing plants making the CDs, making the cassettes, and making the vinyl. The original, oh God, you let the cat in. All right, whatever. There's cats in to finish this stuff, so it's on like donkey. Don't close the door. Sorry, this is awful. The cats love the sitting room where
They
I'm
love
at.
you. They love you.
No,
Let's
it's the sitting room.
So randomly, at what point in this process is the test pressing checked for accuracy?
After the stamper is created.
Okay.
So because that's that's where it becomes, this is a real thing now. Once they can make the stamper, they do, I think it's typically 5. And did you ever listen to that test pressing I sent you?
I did not, but I will. Sorry.
I need somebody else to hear that because I think it is absolutely amazing music.
Okay.
And
when I go back to the house, I will.
And I wanted to send that to somebody whom I genuinely believed could appreciate it.
I will. And I do appreciate that you send it to me along with other stuff. And I just have not been listening.
I still have, look, I got stuff to vinyl check that I haven't spun yet that I've had for weeks. No, I get it. I get it.
Stuff to check that I have had for months. I just bought this one today, so I didn't go 2 episodes in a row without a vinyl.
Believe me, I get it. You know what? One of the things, when we get a little squiffy on money and my wife's like, okay, don't buy any records. I'm like, I don't know. It's part of the show.
FOMO is a real thing. FOMO. Again, we have a Metallica coming, and then we're going to start, I imagine, Gimme Metal in April. That's my hunch.
I would imagine Gimme Metal is going to start July.
Oh, word? Okay.
Just because the next Metallica Vinyl Club is supposed to hit in April.
No, sooner. No, February. We are owed one.
Right, but they said it was going to be late, like April.
Late is February or March. I think it's going to be before then.
Well, you know what? We haven't.
Do they want to bother sending everybody's records out and the Vinyl Club at the same time? I don't think so. That's a lot of work for their warehouse people.
That's a good point. And you know what? Because Metallica owns a warehouse. Metallica owns a pressing plant. Metallica, anybody who tells you they're great at business and wants to say, oh, we're the Coca-Cola of rock and roll. We want to be McDonald's. They ain't Metallica, and they ain't doing as good as Metallica. I'm just going to say that. But while we have a few minutes left, hang on. Let me send a text to my mother-in-law because she sent me a text about the lasagna I'm making. My kid did say that my lasagna smells like lasagna.
Well, that's good.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm making, so I mean, that's a win. Hopefully it's good. I've never done this, but we got a little bit of time left because we are only at about 50 minutes.
Is that the whole process?
That is the whole process.
You get the first pressings, you press the first 5 or 10, you check one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody in authority checks it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, okay, now press 1,000.
Right. Once they're approved, you send the approval notice, or however, I'm sure there's some sort of writing process, whether it's an email, whether it's a click on a website, or because it's 2023. And then at that point, we say we're ordering 15 or 30, or, obviously not 15 or 30, but we're ordering 100, we're ordering 300, or, so on and so forth. And that is it. And that is the process. And then it takes however long it takes, because bands like Led Zeppelin, who make, or was it Adele? I believe it was Adele. Yes. Okay. Keefy's nodding.
Adele did the 1 million copies of vinyl.
Yes.
Unnecessarily.
Right. She needed 1 million copies. She needed to ship platinum on just
So
vinyl.
so this is apropos. We didn't do a news, but this is kind of a news thing anyway, and it's kind of evergreen, at least in my opinion.
Works.
And we can talk about it again in the next episode also if you want to.
Fair.
2022 was the biggest selling year of vinyl ever. Ever.
In dollars or units?
In units in the US and the UK. And Australia is compiling their numbers now. It's also probably a record year there also. The rest of the world is a little harder to calculate.
Well, I mean, if you're outside of the empire, do you matter?
The single biggest selling week of the year for vinyl in 2022 was, guess what? The week before Christmas.
Right.
Not coincidentally, the week Taylor Swift also released a new album on vinyl and sold 80,000 copies of her vinyl. So just
80,000 in 1 week.
80,000 in 1 week.
Holy
because that's her first record
balls.
that debuted. We'll call it in the modern vinyl era.
Right.
MVE for short in Keef parlance. Keefy.
Mavivi. We're going to call it Mavivi.
Keefy Bonics. Before the Common Era. Anyway, before Christos. And so I think it's inherently fascinating that CDs were also up, by the way, in sales too. But
really?
Yeah, actually. But
all right.
And then somebody on Twitter, when I posted this story, said people much smarter than me wrote about this. Hypebot, Billboard's chart data company that they own now, all had reports on this. The US and UK had a record year in selling vinyl, in the making of vinyl, and this is with the delays on. So some people postponed having their vinyl on time or didn't put their vinyl out when they put their record out, and there will be vinyl to come in next year for albums that release this year. I don't know how that's counted or attributed. Obviously for the year, it's attributed to the year it releases.
Hearing a lot of that.
Adele has put out a double album in 2021 and insisted on a vinyl pressing 1 million copies. So there's already a shortage of labor, shipping, logistics.
All of it.
And she insisted that she's going to sell 1 million double LPs of her new album.
That's 2 million
units.
2 million total. Yeah.
It's selfish. I think it was pretty selfish of her. I doubt that she sold 2 billion copies on vinyl or whatever, 1 million copies on vinyl. I mean, I know that Target was the exclusive carrier of her record also on vinyl. And she didn't put out any other variants that I know of. So you literally had to go to Target to buy her thing. And then
I'm going to jump in and I'm sorry. Look behind me. What do you see?
Records.
How many?
Lots. A couple hundred.
A metric fuck ton. I mean,
800?
Just here. There's just 800 behind me. That's not all of them. I will never go to Target to buy records, Adele.
Well, here's the thing.
No.
My homegirl, who I'm pet sitting for, bought the Adele record and it came damaged.
Of course it did.
Of course it did, because it's hard.
But the good news is there's plenty to replace it with.
Anyone who has heard me whine and cry about Walmart,
Iron Maiden, Senjutsu. I'm sorry. I got PTSD from
hearing my story.
Yes.
I scarred Nick for life hearing about my melee, my fucking terrible ordeal. 3 times they sent me this triple vinyl set. I finally relented. The vinyls are fine. The packaging is still ruined. They probably all got ruined because it's Walmart. Yet Walmart has exclusive vinyl stuff. And generally their pressings are not bad.
Yeah, I have a copy of Red Hot Chili Peppers' Blood Sugar Sex Magic, which is my favorite Chili Peppers record, is the Shubbalub of Shubbalubs. Pressing is amazing. I have a Metallica Black Album. I think that is the only one I have of the Metallica pressings. It's really good. I don't know who pressed it.
Well, I think Walmart has their own plant.
I would hope if I'm Metallica, if I'm doing an exclusive series, I don't use my plant. I use their plant.
I feel like Metallica. I want to hope. I know that some people complained about the sound on the vinyls of the Metallicas. I had no problem with them. I will tell you that I feel like Metallica's so in control of their shit that they probably wanted to be in charge of their own thing.
That makes sense. And I'll say this: Metallica is so big, so quality that even the bootlegs are amazing.
Sometimes.
That's actually something I saw this week that saw today at Vintage Vinyl. They had quite a few. They had a complete load concert. However, you had to buy it in two parts. So it was a $60 outlay. $60 outlay without knowing how it sounds. Not gonna do it.
We're gonna get a load box set very soon.
I agree, and you know what? No, I think they're gonna do it. I think they're gonna do the double on that one. Just do load reload.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We're gonna, and I think it's gonna happen in summertime.
This year?
That's my prediction. New Metallica record in April, summertime box set, November new release of Saint Anger. That's mark my words. I'm telling you, they're gonna go big.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. Had the pandemic not happened, I would agree. However, the pandemic did happen. And you had also predicted a live shit binge and purge box set.
I am also predicting a lot. I think they're gonna do the black box for live ship binge and purge, and they just renewed their deal with Nugs. So I don't know. We didn't, again, no news, but this will be old news by the time this runs. However, Metallica has renewed their deal with Nugs, and they brought back. You remember during the pandemic, they did like 20 weeks of live concerts every Monday, raising money.
Awesome.
They were awesome. They're still all online. If you love Metallica, you could watch a new Metallica concert that you've never seen before, probably every week from the early days all the way to now. They are doing, I think, 8 or 10 weeks in a row on Nugs Nets. They started last weekend. I imagine it runs all the way up until their record release, by the way. Really smart marketing. Nugs.net has all kinds of concerts. I think they're the exclusive provider of Bruce Springsteen concerts. They have Machine Head for a while. They have Metallica, many other bands. So
if I could, can you wrap this up?
Yeah. I'm done Metallica.
Yeah, let's before, because we've got a few minutes yet in my world. It is we got about 10 minutes left where we can yap. Now, I would like to ask you, what is your favorite record pressing? Your best sounding album that you're just like, damn.
I have to say the remaster of my favorite record is Wish You Were Here. And I love
the remaster.
The remaster is my favorite pressing. I don't have a lot of classic pressing stuff. Most of my stuff is a modern purchase, new albums, things like that.
I understand.
I have a very low tolerance for shitty quality, so I'm very particular about like buying an OG pressing or a previously owned anything.
Gonna jump in real quick. The Black Sabbath self-titled Rhino 180 gram pressing is fucking amazing. It is.
Is that from a couple of years ago?
Like 2014-ish. Where is it? Yeah, right here. 180 gram. And I mean, I swear to God, this is the kind of record that is so good. And I think I'm pretty much on record by saying, when I say that I'm not, I like the OG pressings. I mean, everybody knows that. Everybody's seen this, listened to this, and watched this. They see what I'm trying to get. And I think have I gone public with my Pink Floyd fetish? I am going to replace every Pink Floyd record I have with a Japanese pressing in the future.
You said this. That's fine. You're allowed.
That Black Sabbath 180 gram pressing is amazing. It is so good. You don't need an OG pressing.
By the way, I don't know if there's a new pressing coming of Metal, but Pink Floyd just released, like slyly released to YouTube, a new audio remastered version of, I think it's Pillar of Winds.
I gotta be honest, I'm not gonna buy that.
I understand. I might.
I have a Japanese pressing of Metal.
Yeah, you don't need it, but I'm gonna say if they remastered it, because it's like weirdly timed that they're just putting out one song from Metal with a little vinyl on it and no announcement and nothing.
It's about time for those guys to start really milking the cow for their
Well,
kids.
they're done. They're done. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
they're
so they're
done.
done as a band. So all that's left is
Milks.
milking. And also the label probably wants to, they've done kind of all the big things. And I don't know what else there is left to do except go backwards and redo them.
Agreed. Agreed. If I could
Yeah.
answer my own question,
Mm.
one of the greatest pressings, one of the greatest vinyl releases I have that changed my mind is Kiss 80s music. And we stopped on the Kiss series at I Love It Loud, which is a great place to stop. We didn't even do Lick It Up. But when you get into Asylum, when you get into Animalize, listening to those records on original vinyl improves them from like a -4 up to a 6-ish.
You
Because
talk about the quality of the record? No. You just
yes,
need the
yes.
sound.
No, the quality of the record, the quality of the sound improves the record to that point. Because on those albums, that is the way they were intended to sound. And on the first pressings, and I use that term loosely, we'll call them burnings. On the first burnings of the Kiss CDs, and the Pink Floyd CDs, even, and the Metallica CDs, and a lot of the legacy bands, the first CD burns, they didn't know how to get the analog into the digital. And Neil Young was right back in 1994 that digital recording is better, analog recording is better than digital recording. And Dave Mustaine was wrong, because the analog recording actually gives you how our ears work. Digital recording is trying to create that in the best way it knows how, which doesn't work.
I think it depends. I think Neil also made analog records at a time that was like irreplaceable. And
Agreed.
Megadeth's early albums all sound like ass, partially because they were just recorded like ass, and partially because the band was smoking ass. They were wrecked. And
You
so
know, those are those are amazing points. Megadeth didn't have the budget, comparatively speaking, for Killing Is My Business or Peace Sells that Neil Young did for the albums he did back in the 60s when he was a major moneymaker, rather than a gamble. Megadeth has always been a gamble.
I suppose.
Alrighty, I got nothing else this week.
Yeah, nor do I. This is a pretty fun and rambling all over the place episode, but always fun.
I'm gonna
And
finish my last sip of this beer.
yeah, I still have quite a bit of beer here in the glass. So my light went out and I just definitely replaced it quickly. That was amazing.
Who's taking us out this week?
I don't know. It's a good question. This is going to run sometime in the future. Do you want to do this one? And
I'll
then
take it. You took last week. It doesn't matter how, whatever. Somebody takes it out. I'll take it out. Thank you very much. Thank Keefy. I appreciate you taking some time out of your weekend in order to take care of me. Because the more people I have watching me when my wife's not home, the better next week is going to be. But thank you very much for listening. Especially thank you if you have watched. The YouTube channel it's been a great source of new eyeballs, new ear holes, and please subscribe. Even if you don't subscribe, if you are listening to, well, hopefully if you were listening to this and you went, fuck these guys, hopefully you put in a comment, fuck these guys. Do that. And that's just better. It just helps everybody. But Louis is a fat turd with too many toes. He's got 6 toes on each foot. He's here. He's not going out. Wow. The plot. I mean, that's like three miles back. Louis has never been to Peoria. The Glacier Musical Pouredcast does not play in Peoria. This beer is black.